Hey guys, this is Kevin, and I'm here to give you my report for my first day at the 2013 Whiskey Creek Film Festival. So the first movie I saw was Blue Jasmine. It's the new Woody Allen movie. It stars Cate Blanchett as a woman who has to move in with her sister in San Francisco after her corrupt banker husband is arrested, later commits suicide in prison, and as a result she loses all of her money, basically all of her belongings. She has to start from the ground up. This movie has a really terrific cast. Aside from Cate Blanchett, of course, who's one of the best actresses around, we also have Sally Hawkins as her sister. We have Bobby Cannavale from Boardwalk Empire, who plays her sister's fiance, who's very good in ways you might not expect from this character, who seems to be kind of stereotypical when you first see him. Andrew Dice Clay, of all people, plays her ex-husband, or Sally Hawkins' ex-husband, I should say. He's really surprisingly good in here. You never expect this sort of performance from a guy like him. And there are all sorts of other great characters. I mean, there's characters played by Michael Stuhlbarg, there's characters played by Louis C.K., and yeah, there's not a wasted cast member in this movie. But even though they're all very great, the center of this movie, the base upon which everything is built, is Cate Blanchett, and she just gives a very good performance in this movie of a very original character. The thing about Jasmine is that she has no redeeming qualities about her whatsoever. I mean, this movie's been compared a lot to A Streetcar Named Desire, but in that movie, at least Blanchett, you were sympathetic to her at times. You could understand what she's going through, or you even liked her in many scenes. But Jasmine, nuh-uh. She's one of those characters who, when you think she's about to become more likable, you think she's about to do something good, she just turns around and slaps you in the face, basically, with just how bad of a person she is. Now, this character could have easily been played by Blanchett or a different actress as a really blatant villain or really just a shrewish woman, but Blanchett really humanizes her. She gives her a real human base for such an unlikable character. She doesn't play her as a villain. She doesn't play her as a malicious character. She just plays her as someone almost completely lacking in empathy, places herself above everybody else, very condescending. And as a result, when she walks into a room, she seems to suck the goodness out of everybody else. I mean, if you're in a room with Jasmine, you're not going to behave like the good person you are, and that's the thing that makes this movie watchable. I mean, if this is a movie where you want to like the main character, you probably shouldn't watch it because Jasmine is just so unlikable. And even though she's surrounded by nice people, she's surrounded by people who only want to help and only want to sympathize with her. It seems that just by the virtue of being around her, they start to do bad things to each other. And it's just really fascinating, and that's what drives this movie largely. You think, oh my god, what's she going to do next, or what's going to happen next? Mostly because this movie does not have a conventional plot. The movie sort of alternates between past and present. The past scenes involve her with her husband, played by Alec Baldwin, who is very good in this small role as this kind of smug, corrupt banker guy. And then, of course, the present scenes with her and Sally Hawkins and Sally Hawkins' kids and these other characters who they run into. So yeah, this is one of those Woody Allen movies that sort of straddles the line between comedy and drama. You can never quite tell what it's going to be in the next scene. There are several big laughs, and there are also some very dramatic scenes too. So yeah, I would recommend this movie quite a bit. It's very, very well acted, very well written, and directed in a way where Woody Allen knows all he needs to do is point his camera at the actors and let them do their thing. Highly, highly recommend Blue Jasmine. The next movie I saw today was called The Kings of Summer. This is a coming-of-age comedy about 3 teenagers who decide to run away from home and build a house in the woods and live off the land. Yes, and that's basically what the plot is. These kids are frustrated with their parents, and they decide they're smart enough and manly enough that they can live off land and become men there. And that's the sort of coming-of-age story we get. It's nothing really groundbreaking here, but there's just that sense of familiarity with the characters and the feelings that they have, towards their parents, towards each other, towards, of course, the ubiquitous, a very hot girl that one of them had a major crush on. She's played by Alison Brie here. She was very good in this sort of small sort of role. And yeah, this is a very well directed movie. That's the thing that struck me the most was the direction in this movie. It's very stylish, not the sort of direction you would kind of expect from Sundance comedy of this sort. And there are a couple of really hilarious fantasy sequences here that got some really big laughs from me. Even though the first one comes out of friggin' nowhere, because we never saw that sort of comedy earlier in the movie. It comes out of nowhere, so you're almost like, whoa, what's that? But then you just saw it, just because it's so completely ridiculous. Oh, anyway, other thing I have. So I should probably, since I'm complimenting the direction so much, I should probably give a shout out to the director. His name is Jordan Vogt Roberts. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I should also give a shout out to the cast, because the cast is just wonderful here for the most part. There's Nick Robertson, he plays the main character, his name is Joe. He's the mastermind behind the whole thing. There's Gabriel Basso, who plays Patrick, who is Joe's best friend and goes along with him. Then there's also Nick Offerman as Joe's father, and then Mark Evan Jackson and Megan Mullally, once again I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who are playing Patrick's parents. Now there are a couple of different problems in this movie, and they kind of go with characters. I mean, I know for a movie where the main characters run away, there has to be some sort of friction between them and their parents. And Nick Offerman as Joe's father does get some good depth and some character development over the process of this thing, worrying about Joe when he's running away and stuff. But Patrick's parents, I mean, they're like almost completely robbed of any depth. I mean, they're basically your stereotypical, embarrassing, silly, overbearing parents, and yeah, you never get the sense that he really misses them. You never get the sense that they learn anything from the experience of Patrick having run away from them. And then there's Biagio. Now, Biagio is the third of the three teenage boys who run away during the summer. He's played by an actor named Moises Arias, who is best known for his work on the TV series Hannah Montana and The Middle. And the thing about him is, lots of people were laughing at his antics in the theater I was watching, but he plays this type of character who I almost never like in the movie, and this one's no exception. He plays the comic relief character who serves almost no purpose other than being a comic relief character. I mean, the only thing that distinguishes him is the fact that he always says, every time he says something, it's always something bizarre or self-consciously quirky at times. And yeah, there's no humanizing element to him. We never know why he's out in the woods with these kids. We never know what his parents think of him having run away. He's just this blatant comic relief character who comes across as so flat and so cartoonish and lacking of any realism, especially in comparison to the performances by Gabriel Basso and Nick Robertson, who are just so natural and so good with each other and have such good chemistry that it just sticks out like a sore thumb to me. Now I'm aware lots of people like this sort of character, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But yeah, I just did not like Biagio at all. In any way, now despite those complaints that I had, and this is a good movie. Like I mentioned, the performances from the two main leads are very good. Alison Brie gives a good performance, and they have to give a screenwriter, Chris Galletta, credit for not going the predictable route with her. And the directing is really good. There are some really big laughs here, and in the last act of the movie, they do a really good job of not sugarcoating how difficult it could be for a bunch of teenagers to live in the woods together with almost no access to the outside world. And and of course, in lots of movies like this, things tend to get more dramatic towards the end, and that happens in here too. But it's worked in a very good way, in a more believable way, especially the way the relationships between these kids are resolved with each other. It really does earn its label as coming of age movie, because you can see these kids mature as they go along. So yeah, if you're a fan of coming of age movies, The Kings of Summer is more than good enough to fit the bill. good acting, very good directing, and a bunch of very memorable moments. So yeah, that's all from me from the first day of the Whiskey Creek Film Festival. I'll be back tomorrow to give you a look at a whole bunch of other movies that are being shown there. See you then.